Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for stopping by the channel for a hockey-themed episode today. We are going to look at some really awesome recent pickups from the fastest game on ice, the NHL. I love hockey. I've been a huge fan of the sport since I played it as a kid and was a childhood fan of the Hartford Whalers. And have a few pickups here that I want to get through. And all of these happen to feature players who had a really notable season in 2023-2024, which that season just wrapped up this past week. And so I thought it would be fitting to group all of these together and talk briefly about each player and the card, and also why they had a really good campaign this past year. And we're going to start quickly here with Sidney Crosby, longtime captain of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And his most notable feat this year, sadly, the Penguins did not make the postseason, so you won't be seeing Sid the Kid in the playoffs. However, he scored at a point-per-game pace or better, which is a really important benchmark for NHL scoring. And he did that for the 19th consecutive year, becoming only the second player ever to have a streak that long. The other one here is Wayne Gretzky. So I thought it would be fitting to show off both of these recent pickups, especially given that they're both acetate cards. So this is a mid to late 90s clear shots parallel here of Wayne Gretzky. And this even has some rainbow foil action going on the right. Never knew about this. It was kind of at a time where I wasn't actively collecting. And so I only found out about this card recently and was amazed that I could get a copy of this for around $10 or less. Figured that would be a more expensive card, but happy to score one of those. And then obviously Sid, who we just talked about. This is last year's Upper Deck Clear Cut parallel, which fall about 2 or 3 per hobby case. So they're not easy as they parallel the entire set. And just a cool, cheap pickup there. So congrats on an individual level to Sid the Kid. Tough season maybe for the Penguins, but great individual season for him anyway. And now my other, kind of the active player who came in alongside Sid the Kid and has always been judged against him. My favorite active player, Alex Ovechkin, wanted to pick up a couple of different versions of his latest Upper Deck flagship card from this past season to keep some runs going that I have intact. And the first, just to link it to the 2 cards we just saw, is the Upper Deck Clear Cut parallel. So this now gives me every Ovi clear cut, I think, that exists since the advent of this parallel, which was back in 2016. And then to go along with that, also got a copy of his Upper Deck Exclusives card here, numbered to 100, as it always is. And that parallel goes all the way back to the late 90s. And this keeps my run intact, of his Exclusives cards from his second year, which was his first exclusive. He doesn't have a Young Guns rookie exclusive, but that second year, all the way up through present day, this keeps that run intact for me. So 2 pretty important parallels for this Ovi collector. And he as well had a great individual season this past year, surpassing 30 goals for the 18th time in his career, and that is the most all time. He broke a tie at 17 30-goal seasons with Mike Gartner, longtime Capitals and Rangers forward, who's a 700 career goal scorer himself. Ovi this season scored 30 goals for the 18th time, and he is the only player in league history to achieve that milestone. And unlike Sidney Crosby, the Capitals did miraculously make the playoffs with a late season push, and so we will see Alex Ovechkin in action during the Stanley Cup playoffs here, which is, I guess, pretty cool. I mean, you do worry a little bit about his wear. A buddy of mine mentioned that to me the other night. Like, he almost, as a fan of him as an individual, you wouldn't have been bummed to see him miss the playoffs because he could rest up for next season and the pursuit of Wayne Gretzky's scoring record. But nonetheless, it's exciting to see the Capitals make it, and it would be interesting if they could make some kind of a run. They're certainly underdogs heading into it here. Next up, a guy I haven't heard talked as much about, but Austin Matthews. And this is a card I am incredibly proud of, both proud to own and really proud of the job that I did finding this. This is his rookie card from O-Pee-Chee Update, from 2016 Upper Deck. Really struggling with this one. But he has been a perennial just sniper. routinely leads the league in goals, and he did that again this year. He registered 69 goals, Austin Matthews did, for the Maple Leafs. That was 12 goals better than the next closest goal scorer. Only 4 players in the league exceeded the 50-goal plateau. So when you think about that, the fact that he nearly got to 70 and finished at 69 is amazing. And this is the rainbow foil. I mean, just gorgeous, gorgeous parallel of his rookie here from O-Pee-Chee Update. And got this from a seller up in Canada. And after the currency conversion and the best offer price that we agreed on, this card was about $50 in a PSA 9. And I understand the PSA 9 hate and the fact that they go, much cheaper than 10s. But in the time since I bought this over the last couple weeks, I've seen more than one PSA 10 of this card sell in like the $250 range. And so to me, to get this for about 20% of that cost, like I could not pass it up. I was not planning on purchasing this card, but when I ran across it at the price I did, I thought it was just an opportunity that I couldn't let go by to add that card to my pretty small Austin Matthews collection. You can't collect everybody, or at least not super collect everybody, so I don't have anywhere near the number of Austin Matthews cards that I do of, say, Ovechkin. So that was kind of a neat one just to, pick up and add to that small collection, as he is, kind of the premier goal scorer of this era. And I pair him alongside the premier point producer of this era, who's on the next card, Connor McDavid. And to me, this is a big card. This is the Precious Metal Gems, the red, number to 100, from the first, release and the revival of Precious Metal Gems for the NHL, which started back in 2020. And so I've wanted one of these for quite a long time. I have a hobby friend or two who have a copy, and I've really been envious of those, and found this over the winter when I had made a sale, a bulk sale of some graded cards. And I had a little bit of money in my kind of hobby war chest, I guess you would call it, and was out hunting around. This popped as a buy it now, and the offer price, as a straight buy it now, is already very reasonable. But it did have the option to make offers as well, and was able to knock even a little bit more off that asking price. And a grade of a 9 on these inserts, or parallels, I should say, is really, really tough. The borders on these, especially the back borders, they're very, very prone to chipping around the edges and the corners. And so I would guess out of the 100 copies of this that are out there, this is probably in the top 50% of those as far as condition goes. I routinely see this parallel, graded like a 7 or even a 6, even though it's a brand new release. So pumped to have this. McDavid had a very, very successful year as well. The Oilers made the playoffs, most importantly, because, what he's missing most is a Stanley Cup or, deep team success in the playoffs. So it's nice to see them in the action here in the postseason. And he became, I believe, the 4th player ever to record 100 assists in a single season. So that is really, really incredible. But despite that, he did not end up even in the top 2 in the scoring race, because 2 other players surpassed him, one being this gentleman here, who I also happen to pick up this card of recently, Nathan MacKinnon, the Avs. I realized as the season was kind of winding to a close that my representation of Nathan MacKinnon in my collection is not, where I would ideally like it to be. And I love this parallel. We saw the Ovi earlier that I showed. This is the same parallel, number to 100, but this is the 2015 MacKinnon. So it's like I think maybe like a 3rd-year card or something like that. An earlier career MacKinnon, great photograph. I love the alternate sweater there. And this is also the rookie year for Connor McDavid, who we just saw a moment ago. So MacKinnon, amazing year. Of course, the Avalanche are in the playoffs as well and in the hunt. And his name is prominently mentioned in MVP talks. We don't really know how that's going to go. But he did finish 2nd in league scoring, ahead of Connor McDavid, with an impressive 140 points this year. So I'm really happy to have scooped up that exclusives MacKinnon. And that only cost me just about exactly what a retail blaster goes for these days. I think around $25 or a little bit less. for that card, numbered to 100. Very, very satisfied with that. And then we're going to close out with a guy who surpassed both McDavid and McKinnon for points this year, Nikita Kucherov. And shout out and thanks to my buddy Eric over at Those Back Pages who sent me the link for this card. This listing went up at a price that was way too cheap. I don't know if the seller was dejected by the PSA 9 or didn't realize the scarcity of these Day with the Cup insert cards, or maybe a little bit of both. But in any event, this went up for $19.99 as a buy it now. And Eric knows that I've been collecting some Kucherov, and he's a fan of this particular parallel, or insert, I should say, as well, and sent me the link. And when I knew that he wasn't going to buy it, or confirmed he wasn't going to buy it, it was an instant buy it now smash, and instantly becomes a pretty significant card of Kucherov in my collection. This man has the Lightning in the playoffs again, and 144 points to lead the league and capture his second scoring title. So he is the Art Ross Trophy winner for the NHL for 2023-24 for the second time in his career. Already 3 Stanley Cups under his belt, just like Crosby, who we began the episode with. So really undersung player that's been incredibly successful, has fought through injury and adversity, and just continues to produce year in and year out. So congrats to Kucherov on the scoring title. And to all hockey fans out there, I hope you are anxiously anticipating the beginning of the playoff action, the same as I am here. Can't wait for those pucks to drop. But until then, I thought this was a fitting review of some players who had a pretty big year this past year, and some great new additions to my hockey collection. So thank you for stopping by. I appreciate your time, and I'll be back soon with some more content. Till then, enjoy the hobby, everybody. See ya.